It is me here as Journey once again with another live stream. So I just saw Transformers Rise of the Beast and I wanted to do this stream where I talk about what my thoughts on the movie are. Now, next week, which is a Wednesday, I believe next week is, what's the date on next Wednesday? The 21st is when Secret Invasion comes out, the Marvel TV show, and that is going to be the new topic of my live streams. But give me a moment while I get some stuff set up so we can start talking about Transformers Rise of the Beast. Okay, for Transformers Rise of the Beast, I give the movie a 9 out of 10. And that's because there are some things that I think should have been explained a little more. Like there's some things that are just like implied. Like it's implied that Scourge wasn't always on Unicron's side. That Unicron used his what did they call it? Dark and what did they call it? Like evil energy or something along the lines. I forgot what it was, but that's what infected the Decepticons. I assume that Scourge and his the Nightbird and battletrap were originally Decepticons. And I forgot what the other the stuff that was implied was. But let's start off with the human characters. Let's get their story out of the way. So in the movie, they give it's Noah and Elena. I think that's the names. So they actually in the movie they actually like are very involved in the plot, and I think that was a very good, very good thing to have, considering that we didn't have to deal with a bunch of humans having a bunch of random conversations and whatnot. Like, and because we go to watch a Transformers movie, and yes, there's going to need to be humans, but like you have to be very focused on the whole situation going on with the Transformers. So Noah, he's ex-military, and Elena is a historical archaeologist, and Noah is essentially like trying to find a new job, but it turns out he wasn't like the type that's like extremely skilled, and that's what the people at the job he's at wanted. They wanted someone that was extremely skilled, and that ends up being why he didn't get the any job actually. And his little brother, I didn't know much into like what medical situation was with the little brother. All we know is that like his arm was hurting, but it turns out they're behind on the hospital bills. And Noah, well, he goes down a, I guess you could say, dark path, but like he starts to question it in the movie where he wants to get the car, then sell it. You know that the car is not his, the Porsche, which ends up being Mirage. So he wants to, yeah, he his friend goes like, why don't we just like take it and stuff? And he's like, okay, all right, I need the money and stuff. But Noah's character, like when he actually gets to the car, he starts to question, like, okay, man, this, like, even though I'm at a difficult position in life, I shouldn't do this. So there's that, and then there's Elena's character who is the one at her job. She's the one who actually has the historical knowledge, and her boss keeps trying to take all the credit, and that becomes a an issue for her in the movie because she wants to get recognized for her knowledge. So she ends up there ends up being a artifact. It ends up being an artifact, and it's the eagle statue. It ends up being the eagle statue, and she like realizes that this eagle artifact is not from any civilization she's actually discovered or like has known, and she really wants to know where it came from. So her character gets involved with the Transformers due to the fact that she wanted to research the artifact, and it ends up being the transwarp key. That's how she gets involved, and her character is ends up using her historical knowledge of like translation and stuff to actually, well, later deactivate the transwarp key down the line when Scourge tries to use it to bring Unicron. And Noah, now he when in the final battle, Noah actually ends up going from being someone who is not skilled to actually someone who is skilled in combat. I think when he realizes how much was on the line, that's when his true skill awakened in a way. So that's the thoughts on the human characters. Now let's get on to the Autobots. So Optimus Prime's design is ends up being a downgrade in a way from his design in the Bumblebee movie, but that's like due to the fact that he's a truck, he's like somewhere in the 1900s. He might, I don't know the exact truck, but like obviously on Cybertron he was like a futuristic vehicle, and now he's not a futuristic vehicle anymore. So that's where his design gets a downgrade. In terms of like what the weapons Optimus Prime has, because obviously like we've seen a lot of Transformers, they always have weapons, so we can see those action scenes. But his cannon it, is oversized, and it's on. He has it on both arms. It doesn't really make sense how, if you look at the size of his arms, how it is able to make a oversized cannon of that size. And and then you have to factor in this fact that he also has two energon swords as well, and that's the above the forearm area, like his hand's still there when the energon sword comes out. I looked at the size of the energon sword, and it actually makes sense in terms of size. So like I can see, yeah, like this Optimus Prime has can fit an energon sword in that slot, but the cannon size contradicts it. And it's like, how's he having all the components that form that big cannon as well as storage for an energon sword? And then on top of that, you see that on the, I believe it's the left arm. His left arm Sorry about it. I had to take care of something. And then, anyways, back to Optimus Prime. Yeah, it becomes like a questionable thing. Where was it? All right. So we talked about the cannon. We talked about how like even with the oversized cannon, he has the energon swords. And then like on his left arm, he has the energon axe. And like throughout the movie, it ends up losing its heat factor because in the final battle, you don't really see the heat energy on it anymore. But this was also stored in the arm, like it was stored in the left arm. So like it came out and then detached once the axe got to the point where Optimus Prime can hold it. So this was somehow also on the left arm, and it becomes a it becomes an issue. Like, how is it that he can store an axe of that size, an energon blade, and a cannon, and it's all in the arms? Like, I think what they should have done is they should have showed that he has some kind of compartment on his back, and he stores the axe in there. That would have been the spot to do. And I think they should have decreased the size of the cannon to actually make sure it's logical. And by the way, and he doesn't. For those who are a fan of the handheld cannon he had in the Bumblebee movie, that never appears a single time in this movie. So I think they should have made that appear, and that should have been stored along with the axe in the back. And Optimus Prime's story, uh, Optimus Prime's story really becomes his like how he views like humans or any other species like being involved in a Cybertronian war, the Cybertronian conflict, because he really like really he just wants to protect the Autobots, and like if he feels guilty that they're stranded on Earth, he feels guilty about the Cybertronian war that he has all these Autobots involved. So after his time, like he really does not want like any new species to also get involved, because then he has to also worry and take care of them. And Noah's character, he he has a similar viewpoint as well. Like he just wants to take care of his family. Like he also doesn't want to get involved like within the Cybertronian war. But like throughout the movie, both Optimus and Noah realize how they should actually respect the other side, and that's what ends up being what gets Noah to understand Optimus Prime. And there was a scene, Elena's character, she said to Noah, Optimus Prime isn't a general. He's also like a big brother who's trying to watch out for his family, and that actually starts the turning point for Noah to understand Optimus. And we do get people call it Optimus Prime. What do they call it? Optimus Prime's Bay Rage or something like that, where he's violent in the movie. But thing is, that is not a problem because if you think we don't like think about how long Optimus Prime's been fighting this war, how many people he has lost. So it is perfectly fine if he in the movie he goes, "I'm gonna take back the key and take off Scourge's head," and then like at the end he actually does do that, and he says, "Let me show you the true power of a Prime," and he completely destroys Scourge. So like, yeah, I don't have a problem with that because I mean, what are people wanting? You want Optimus trying to shake hands with Scourge, and then everybody calls it a day? Like we're gonna get Optimus Prime completely destroying the enemy some way, shape, or form. So that's Optimus Prime's story in the movie. Now we get onto Bumblebee. Now, if you've seen the trailers, you already know the Bumblebee is killed off by Scourge in the movie, and it was Scourge's blade and then Scourge's cannon completely damaged Bumblebee. And when the Autobots get to Peru, they say energon infusion could help B, like revive Bumblebee, but I don't really understand. Like we never see how the energon infusion actually like heals all the parts of Bumblebee that are damaged because his spark, like I'm pretty sure Scourge's blade went through the spark, and based on the size of Scourge's blade and why I assume the size of Bumblebee's spark is, the spark was like destroyed in half. So how did energon, which is a liquid, like a liquid, you know, like humans have the red liquid, they have blue liquid. How is that actually able to heal Bumblebee? Like that much damage? It doesn't. It's never actually addressed in the movie. We don't see how Bumblebee became an off-road Camaro. Now, if you think back to the bowling movie, remember when he got damaged by fighting Blitzwing? We see him actually look. We see him actually his head-up display. See the Camaro, not the Camaro, the car. The is it a Beetle car? That car. He sees it, but like, where did he see this off-road Camaro? Especially when they're out in the middle in Peru. Like that's never explained how he became the off-road Camaro. Because the only movie established that you need to actually see the vehicle. Uh, and then like Bowie, he comes back. Like Bowie, like he comes back, and he's got this time a cannon on both sides. In the Bowie movie, he had just the cannon on the right arm, and now he's got it on both the right and left arm. Now we know the cannon. Now Bowie, how his weapons form actually makes sense. Now we don't actually see the blade. The blade, which is on the top half of his forearm, come out. Like he never used that in the movie, but we at the bottom of the forearm is where his cannon is stored, and his fingers essentially wrap around the cannon. So he has two of these, and he uses that. Hold on, what's the other important point I was gonna make? Oh, right. Yeah. So that's so Bowie has like two or three references in the movie, and Optimus Prime says something along the lines of, "You need to stop going into drive-through theaters." Optimus Prime sounds like a parody in that scene, and I guess going forward, that's gonna be like Bumblebee's signature thing. Like he makes a lot of catchphrases to movies during the 1900s. But I think at this point, especially when you think about the fact that in the Michael Bay movies, he always used the radio, you'd think that the energon infusion also healed his voice somehow. Like if it can heal his spark, which was ripped in half and stuff, that it also heal his like somehow magically heal the part his voice modulator, I guess. You think that would also be healed, and it ends up not being. Like he still uses the catchphrase, and I think we really need the next movie to somehow give Bumblebee his voice back. The same one he had in the bowling movie when he fought Blitzwing and on the Cybertron scene. We need him to finally have his voice back. On to the next character, Mirage. Now, Mirage in the movie, he essentially is your special abilities person. Like, think about he had the Mirage making, where he creates the holograms around him. That's something from the Generation 1 cartoons. So he had that. And then he can become a suit. Like, Autobot decides somehow become a suit. Or Noah. Not really sure how that even happens. And it was even when he was all damaged and broken apart. Like you saw all the heat, the heat areas that Scourge's blaster like damaged Mirage. And somehow even then he came together to form a suit for Noah. And if you look at the scene, if you're wondering, oh, hey, maybe it's not actually all of Mirage that became the suit for Noah. Maybe like his broken parts were still on the ground, but they weren't. Like they weren't on the ground when the suit's fully formed. We don't see a single thing on the ground. And when Noah starts fighting Scourge, you still don't see any Mirage parts on the ground. So that part again makes sense. And then on top of that, Mirage he has turned into a Porsche, a Lamborghini, and a race car. Oh, and even a garbage truck. Uh, and like I don't think we saw him scan a single one of those vehicles. He just like turned into them. And you don't even see that like when he turns into a robot that he has all those components actually on him, on like a part of his robot mode. You don't see any of that. And that's why it becomes like confusing that how Dimraj would go against something established in the Bumblebee movie. Like at this point, we just assume that he can turn into anything, but have his robot mode stay the same. Because we've seen other Autobots have a design that's based on their vehicle mode. And I guess you could say that's a plot point. And in terms of what he has, he had a single cannon, and he fires um, like single fire. He shoots a cannon single fire, but then when he switches to dual cannon, he fires burst shots, or maybe it was rapid shots. I think it was it was burst shots. And then when he hits the Noah suit had two blades, so you can assume that since this Noah suit is Mirage, the Mirage also has those. And Mirage Historia in the movie ends with Noah repairing Mirage, and you can see all the components that were before the actual like paint that Mirage's vehicle mode had. Noah was able to purchase all those parts and put them together. But even that doesn't actually make sense because like when Raj got, I guess you could say, like killed off, he was still able to form into the suit, and the suit never had any components that looked all broken and stuff. So then, why would you need to then replace all those components in order to fix Mirage? Because it doesn't make sense. If Mirage can form into a fully functional suit, then you think Mirage is actually like be able to also go back into its big mode, like his default, like normal mode. And now we're supposed to believe that he needed Noah. Noah somehow fixed him. Hold up, what? Let me look it up. I'm gonna actually look up. I'm gonna look up what Mirage is appearance. in the cartoon. Cartoons. Actually, yes. Like, does he have a different color? Okay, so Mirage in the cartoons is primary color of white and a secondary color of blue and gray. So, I mean, I guess they wanted to actually like assume that Noah is gonna repaint Mirage and he's gonna be the actual colors because if you think about it in the movie, he's mostly silver. And a cartoon, he's white painted. So I guess they wanted to go that direction, but they just didn't write it in a logical way. And now we move on to RC. RC ends up being like I guess you could say like a tech expert of the team because she's able to do things like scan Noah, and then she like found all the information that is available on Noah in milliseconds. And yeah, her story, she's not like the main three, like the if you consider who the main Autobots are that are focused, it's Optimus, Optimus Primal, Mirage, and I guess you could also say Bumblebee. But RC is not like one of the mains that are focused on. Like RC, I don't, in terms of what RC can do, she had the wheels on the feet so she could do quick movement. I don't remember she had blades, but she has those SMG style cannons. Now I don't exactly remember if they're handheld ones or not. But that's essentially like basically everything that happens with RC. Like that's how much information I have on RC. Wheeljack, he's even less of a focus than RC. Like Wheeljack, he just has two cannons, and I'm sure you saw them in the trailer or in the TV spots. But with Wheeljack, uh, his glasses end up being the very thing that are his head-up display. And yes, I am aware of how different his design is from the Bumblebee movie, but I'm not gonna get discuss that a lot because it's like basically common knowledge in the Transformer community how different his appearance is. Let's see. Um, let's go on to the final Autobot, which is Stratosphere, and he's even less of a focus than Wheeljack because we saw him in robot mode. What, two times? There's only two times that we see him in robot mode. And I don't know what kind of weapons he has. I don't know what kind of special abilities he has either. But his main purpose in the movie was to be a transport aircraft for the Autobots. And I know that's a thing in Generation 1, where you have a large size transformer turn into a vehicle and then Transformers actually would walk in, like be able to get in, sort of like transportation. But yeah, that ends up being Stratosphere's story. And let's move on to the Maximals, like apelink. Let's start with apelink. Since he's at the very beginning, I found out apelink essentially led the Maximals before he told Optimus Primal to start becoming the leader. And apelink sacrificed himself at the very beginning to hold off Scourge so the Maximals could escape. And he's essentially Optimus Primal's brother. And he had the side blades, and he did fight like a gorilla. Now, for those who don't know who apelink is, he was like a recolored toy of Optimus Prime a long time ago. I think was it red? I think he was a red recolor. But in this movie, he is mainly silver with secondary color of black. And they actually don't make him like a twin of Optimus Prime. I like that they actually gave him his own unique design, despite the low amount of screen time he had. Next is uh, Optimus Primal. Optimus Primal, he had the chain weapon, and the dual sided swords, and he mostly is in ape form throughout the like his entire screen time. He doesn't like turn into his robot mode till the final battle, and I think his robot mode is really cool. That is a really cool robot mode, and I want in the next movie for us to actually see his robot mode more. Now, I'm not saying show robot mode more than his ape form. I'm saying give his robot mode more like screen time, so we get like better looks at him. Look at his robot mode, and Optimus Primal. It's mentioned that he got his name from Optimus Prime, and he has a personality very similar to Optimus Prime, and it allows for the communication between Optimus Prime and Optimus Primal to work really well. And even the voice actors for Optimus Primal, I'm glad they found one that isn't like that far different from Peter Cullen Optimus Prime voice. So that was a good thing. Next up is Airrazor. Okay, yeah, she does not have a robot mode in the movie, but in the figures, she does. And a lot of people were wondering this, like, why is it in all the TV spots and all the trailers? We never saw Airrazor's robot mode. And I have no clue as to why they decided to go this route. Now, she is killed off early in the movie, and in terms of what she can do, she can shoot fire. She has sharp claws, the bird claws. She has like this, like attack mode, attack mode. And then later, when she gets infected by Scourge's weapon, she has a zombified mode as well. And Scourge's, the projectile Scourge launched, he got from Unicron, and it essentially acts like, if you've seen Transformers Prime, essentially acts like Dark Energon. It corrupts the user so that they can be controlled by Unicron. And this is what led to the fact that Optimus Primal had to kill Cheetor. And an odd thing in the movie is I don't understand why they didn't take Cheetor's body with them so they could do the energon fusion as well. I would have liked to see Airrazor revived as well, especially with the fact that we lost apelink. We had 5 Maximals, lost apelink extremely early in the morning, movie, early in the movie. Then we lost Airrazor. We were down to 3. We were down to 3 Maximals. And That was disappointing because I really wanted to see all like the Maximals were the big thing about this movie. It's even entitled Beasts, Rise of the Beast. It's about the Maximals becoming a part of the Transformers live action universe. And we get to Cheetor. He is barely a focus in the movie as well. Like I know he has the dual-sided spear. I like his cheetah mode. In terms of the Maximals, like I guess the coolest animal mode is would be Cheetors, and the coolest robot mode would be Optimus Primals. Oh, that reminds me, we never saw Apelink's robot mode. So that's two Maximals. His robot mode is never revealed. Airrazor and Apelink. Anyways, back to Cheetor. Yeah, so like he says Noah, but I mean his like his appearance. He's in Roma. He was always like far away, and it was like for like 3 seconds. We never saw a close up of his robot mode that I can recall. And Rhinox is barely focused as well because it just like well, first Rhinox has a hammer as a weapon, and the thing is, just like Cheetor, he's barely focused as well. His shots are always far away, and I don't know what that reason is, but that's how it is. Now let's move on to the Terracons. Let's start with let's start with Unicron. So Unicron is, I think he's slightly bigger. He's slightly bigger than Earth, unless the because he's the same size, around the same size as the maximal planet. Unless the maximal planet is bigger than Earth, like I don't recall like I don't know what planet I would compare his size to, but yeah, like he eats planets and essentially like all the rock and debris that he takes from those planets essentially acts like coal. Coal and okay, because he's all fire and stuff on the inside, and he acts like coal, and that heats up the fire, which is how Unicron survives. And Unicron has um, multiple two powers, I guess you could say two powers. I talked about the device that can infect other Transformers so he can control them. And he can do the like communicate with Scourge light years away and also lift Scourge into the air, which also is light years away. And that's Unicron. I believe the music they used for him was the same that he had in the animated movie. So now moving on to Scourge. So Scourge in the movie, like I'm sure you guys noticed his giant claw that he had on one. So, but then like later in the movie when he activates the transform key, you see that he has normal hands. So there's that. Uh, his arm blade doesn't make sense because it's oversized as well in comparison to his arm. Somehow he's able to have like these. I think they were called freezers. That's the Terracon freezers, and they're able to fit inside his back. His cost side also has a cannon, but it's like a charge up one that finishes. And then he's got his main cannon, which I mentioned earlier, can also fire the infected device. And yeah, I don't really like that. He like his how he's able to like have all those weapons and stuff doesn't really make sense. Especially when you like think about the size of his freezers. Like I don't know how they can fit inside his back. And yeah, his face. Let's discuss his face. So no, he wore. I don't know if it's a Terracon symbol or if it's a Unicron symbol, but that he wears that as a mask, and then like he has a bunch of damaged parts underneath. I don't know if like most of the underneath is because it got damaged within the fight itself that happened at the end, or if his face was like already like that underneath. But yeah, I know there's theories of people online thinking, oh, what if it's we find out it's the Michael Bay Optimus Prime, and there's connected universe and things like that, but that is not the case. So let's move on to Battletrap. Now, this is going to sound odd considering Uncalled Hero's journey, but I think Battletrap had a really cool design. And like if you remove the chains and if you remove the spikes, he would basically look like an Autobot. He would look like a really cool Autobot. And actually, before I continue with Battletrap, it's never like the Terracons in general. Were they originally Decepticons before Unicron came to their world, destroyed their world, and then took them as his agents of chaos, I guess? So there's that. Back to Battletrap. So he had the spike ball, and I think I don't. I'm not sure. I think his spike ball also opened up so it can just grab that pillar that he used in the museum fight. His his cannon, it's in the shape of a minigun, so that was cool. Also, you saw it in the truck mode. He fired rockets through the engine, and not sure if like because he had like this. It's like on the back of the tow truck. He's able to grab onto other vehicles. I don't know if tow trucks originally had those, or if that was a specific thing that Battletrap had. Now we move on to Nightbird. So she was, I guess you could say, she was the samurai or the melee expert of the Terracons. She had a shredder style shredder from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on one arm, and then she had a blade on the other arm, and then she had the two katanas in her back. Like her weapons make sense, and she also like was the flying Terracon. She also had like a head of displays that she can use to track whatever she's tracking. And the hilarious way that she got killed off by Chloe because he grabbed one of her, I guess you could say, wings or car door, and he slammed it into her chest. And like, if you think about the way her Nightbird's character Nightbird died, it's like a Bowie movie. Like, remember when who was it? The one that turned into the blue helicopter? Bowie used to change and then like pulled him so like he broke apart. And then Bowie also was able to use the ship to break apart the one that turned into the AVAP Harrier. When it comes to Decepticons, Bumblebee has that unique style of killing them. just break them apart somehow. And that was that honestly was just like hilarious how Nightbird died that way. And uh, then we move on to the Terracon Transit, which was not he or she. I don't know if Transit is a he or she, but it's not in the movie. And there may be a deleted scene somewhere down the line that shows Transit. Uh, the Unicron armies, they're composed of essentially they're Scorponauts. If you remember Scorponauts from the Michael Bay movies, they're essentially Scorponauts, and there's the freezers with the four arms, and they have that small double-sided knife that they hold in that one arm. And then there's another, and I don't think they're called freezers because they're shown in the final battle, just like the Scorponauts are. And they're the they're the ones with the range cannons, and they're also the size of the freezers. So you have those. We talked about their logo regarding the Terracons. Talked about Unicron's dark energy, and we talked about Unicron. Now, the last thing I want to discuss is the ending, the GI Joe ending, where Noah's like, "Oh, I did a lot of some stuff in Africa." He's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot what the character's name is. The guy that's interviewing him." He's like, "Oh yeah, the food must be nice in Peru." And I was like, "Wait, what Peru? I never mentioned Peru. Where am I? What is this place? Are you guys like FBI, CIA? Like where am I?" And the guy tells him that Noah, he's gonna get what he wanted, like in the movie. Like they said that since he saved the world, the organization, which I will mention, will pay for the medical bills for Noah's brother, and that makes Noah happy because he got what he wanted. And speaking of the human characters getting what they wanted, before he gets to the interview, he finds out that the character of Elena, she's finally getting the recognition she wanted and she deserved because of the location of the second key in Peru. So Elena got what she wanted, and then Noah got what he wanted, which was to help out his little brother. And the guy uh, tells him just like we want you to work with us, and he's tells no, your brother's right. Name's over the airways because they were aware of the entire Transformers situation. They were entire what Noah did, and the guy turns over a plaque, which reveals that they're in some kind of hangar with these unusual looking vehicles that are not standard military. And I was like, Noah's like wondering who are these people? And when Noah sees the hangar, he lifts over the card and it says G.I. Joe. That organization, G.I. Joe, and they want Noah and the Transformers to work with them. Now, they're having comics of the G.I. Joe characters in Transformer comics as well. And I know there's been a lot of people going, they either hate this idea or they like the idea. I'm gonna pick the middle side because it's all about how they're gonna do the movie. Because if it's that we're gonna see the Transformers, they're gonna do what Mirage did, break down into like a suit, and it's gonna be the GI Joe characters wearing Transformer suit and it is just a GI Joe fight. That is a terrible idea. I think you should keep the suit thing specific to Noah and Mirage. Maybe you could maybe one of the GI Joe villains that Noah can fight could be like Soundwave. If Soundwave turns into a suit for one of the villains, and then it's like a Noah and Mirage and the villain in Soundwave, and they're fighting it out. I'd be okay with that. Just that. Other than that, I want to see Transformers fight it out. And in terms of Transformers, like you could have some Transformer that makes the GI Joe characters upgraded versions of the weapons they already have, and they're upgraded to the point where they can hurt Transformers, like Snake Eyes. Like if Snake Eyes had a katana that looked like the energon blades that Optimus Prime has, like if they heated up like that, like a heated energon katana, or is it an Ninjato that Snake Eyes carries? I think it's a Ninjato. Okay, so yeah, energon Ninjato. Like if you have something like that, I think that would be a good idea. And then we get into the Transformers themselves. Now, there are having figures and in the comics where the Transformers turn into G.I. Joe vehicles. In this aspect, it once again is how they do that, because I don't want Bumblebee to suddenly be repainted green and he turns into a two-seater G.I. Joe vehicle that doesn't necessarily have a roof. It's just a bunch of bars, like a small two-seater off-road vehicle. Because that's very different from the Camaro that he was in this movie. I don't want them to make Optimus Prime turn into some ballistic missile launcher truck. And he's also colored green. Because that's very different, once again, from the Optimus Prime designs we know. So I think what they need to do is to first keep the Transformers the colors they are. Okay, do not change the colors. And second, if it's a G.I. Joe vehicle, make it a G.I. Joe vehicle that's extremely similar to the vehicles there already are in Rise of the Beast. You can make Optimus Prime a truck, a military truck that is like like he has the 6 wheels, right? You can make Optimus Prime that. Actually, no, not military truck. A military fire truck, because there are iterations of Optimus Prime as fire truck. Make him a red and blue G.I. Joe military fire truck. And for Bumblebee, make him, first of all, keep the colors. Keep him as yellow with the yellow, black stripes, yellow with the black stripes. And make him like still like a G.I. Joe sports car style car. And you can keep the off-road aspect. You can make wheeljack like a small vehicle that can carry multiple soldiers. You can make that for wheeljack and have it still similar to what he was in Rise of the Beast. Make arcee a G.I. Joe motorcycle that's two-wheeled, just like she was in Rise of the Beast. Make stratosphere G.I. Joe transport aircraft. Okay? But make sure it's the colors that he already is. And I believe he was like green, right? Green and gray. Who am I forgetting? Mirage. Just like Bumblebee, make him a military style sports car and keep his colors. If they can actually find ways that it's fair, like I've been mentioning, then a G.I. Joe Transformers movie can work. And essentially, we're at 55 minutes. The last video has been going like 55 minutes. So that is the entire thought I have on Transformers Rise of the Beast. I'll see if there's a G.I. Joe movie that's in this universe, or if there's a sequel to Transformers Rise of the Beasts. I'll be doing a stream on it. Most likely videos as well. And now I guess I'm gonna use, like usually my streams are an hour long. I'm gonna next week, like I mentioned earlier, next week I will be streaming again, and it will be Wednesday, and the topic will be Secret Invasion. Now, I know this stream did not have a single guest, and I don't know if I'll have a guest for next week's Secret Invasion, but I am trying to get some guests to actually show up for these streams. So yeah, we should, if everything works out, we should be able to have some guests somewhere in the 8 episodes of Secret Invasion. Now, Secret Invasion has 1 episode per week. So yeah, I see that like stream we will be discussing that. And in terms of gaming, because I used to cover multiverses does not return till next year. So potential games, not sure. It really depends on if they have if it's like a long-term game. That's like some kind of multiplayer aspect. Armored Core 6. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. Robocop Rogue City. And the Terminator Survival Project, which doesn't have an official name. I think that's what it's called. Those are the potential games I would cover down the line. It just depends on if they have a beta. Oh, Transformers Reactor. So apologize. So yes. After Frontiers of Pandora, Armored Core 6, Terminator Survival Project. Hold on. So Transformers Reactor 8, Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, Armored Core 6, Terminator Survival Project, Transformers Reactor 8, Avatar. Oh, Robocop Rogue City, Armored Core 6, and Terminator Survival Project. Those are the 5 potential choices. And when Multiverses returns next year, I will be covering that again. So, yeah, so we have. I'm not sure when I think the beta for Transformers Reactivate is planned for this year. At least that's what the developer's goal is. And there's that. And also next year in July, not next year, next month in July, is Comic-Con. And I will be doing a live stream where I discuss the DC content and the Marvel content. And Marvel, I think they're gonna introduce everything that is being worked on, and I think they're also gonna have to tell the new release dates for everything, including Armor Wars. including whether this so-called vision project is even a thing, and so on. And for DC, people are thinking that James Gunn is going to reveal the second half of the slate. So I mean, really, that's all the content I have for this stream. Next week, Secret Invasion. So do return for that. And with that, good night, everyone.